Hey there, my name is Josh Fechter. I'm one of the founders of Product Manager HQ. I'm also the founder and head of product for a software company called Squibbler. And today I'm going to dive into one of the most important and widely discussed facets of product development and product management, which is the product roadmap. It's no secret that behind every successful product is a well-designed, efficient product roadmap that guides the actions taken by team members toward achieving a common overarching goal, creating a winning product. It's for this reason that product roadmaps are a constant source of concern for product owners and product managers. One miscalculated step or mistake during its planning and design phase can spell disaster for the product roadmap and can even jeopardize the entire success of a company. Since getting product roadmaps right is so important, we figured that we'd come to you with a video explaining everything you need to know about them, what they are, why they can make or break your product success, and the right way you should go about creating one. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to get direct notifications whenever we post a new and insightful video just like this one, and that way you can always get your fair share of high quality content from product management experts. Now let's go ahead and jump in. If you Google the term product roadmap, no doubt you'll come across several different definitions. Instead of getting caught up trying to compare and contrast how they are defined by the wider community, the simplest and most straightforward way to grasp the concept of a product roadmap is to think of it as a plan of action during the product design and development cycle. Product roadmaps are guides for product creation that describe the steps that you need to take in order to move from point A to point B, C, D, and beyond. In effect, they are high-level blueprints that charter the path that the team needs to follow to complete the different phases of product development. Therefore, they are marked by milestones, which represent markers or landing points that gauge where a team is in the product creation process. Product roadmaps are important for several reasons. Perhaps one of its most telling advantages is that it helps a team prioritize and plan ahead at every stage during product creation. This is because product roadmaps, by their very nature, form fundamental pillars of your strategic planning process. Since product roadmaps are action plans for product implementation, they are linked to product strategy, which implies greater alignment between the overall strategy and the various tasks and activities undertaken by the team. The product roadmap, therefore, visually communicates the course of action for the product's development, thus helping the entire team to strategize how they will tackle their responsibilities at the various stages of product creation. Now, we've already spoken about how product roadmaps act as blueprints that capture, visualize, and communicate plans for product creation. However, it's important to also state that a product roadmap is only as efficient, valuable, and useful as its ability to effectively communicate to its audience. Several stakeholders use product roadmaps as references, from product owners and senior management to marketing and development. For example, your product roadmap should give the management team the confidence that your product will help them meet their strategic goals. Similarly, the same product roadmap given to management must also show the sales team what they need to know to help convince buyers that the product will satisfy their pain points. For that reason, there are different types of product roadmaps that can be created to emphasize select aspects of the product creation process. The first of these is called a portfolio roadmap. These are used in cases where multiple products are being developed simultaneously. True to its name, the portfolio roadmap provides a broad, single overview of the stages that all product projects will go through before they are eventually released. This type of roadmap is particularly useful for product owners who need to provide a visual synopsis of all product plans to executive management. The second type of product roadmap is called the strategy roadmap. While strategy will always be a fundamental aspect of a product roadmap, in this case, strategy roadmaps place particular emphasis on showing all high-level initiatives and efforts that teams need to put in practice in order to meet product goals. This one helps to show how different stages of the product creation process play a role in the overall product and business strategy. Another major type of product roadmap is the releases roadmap. Where product owners think of product roadmaps, this is usually what comes to mind. Releases roadmaps break down all the tasks that need to be completed in order to finalize a product's creation. What has to be done, who has to do it, and when. This is helpful for non-development teams such as marketing and sales, since with this type of roadmap, they can then coordinate their efforts to maximize impact. A features roadmap is yet another type of product roadmap. As the name suggests, features roadmaps provide you with a timeline of when product features will be released. Similar to releases roadmaps, feature roadmaps are useful to help non-development teams plan and strategize a timeline of the activities they carry out. The last type of product roadmap is called a sprint roadmap. These are used within the Agile framework to plan and coordinate a team's efforts during a sprint. As you may know, sprints are very time specific. Therefore, these roadmaps provide a detailed breakdown of who does what and when during the sprint. Now, we've already touched on sprint roadmaps and how they differ from other types of product roadmaps. Therefore, logic would indicate that product development frameworks condition the type of product roadmap that is created. But that's not all. Development frameworks also dictate the level of flexibility afforded to the roadmap at all stages of product creation. In the case of the Agile framework, the product owner drafts a general backlog which acts as a general blueprint to help manage the project. Then the project itself is divided into sprints, each one with its own backlog. Generally speaking, the sprint follows an incremental pattern starting from the initial analysis phase and eventually working their way up to the definition, design, and testing phase, emphasizing constant innovation and improvement in each phase until the product is released. For that reason, sprint roadmaps will always reflect the same level of flexibility afforded to team members during product creation. However, teams that follow the Waterfall framework will follow product roadmaps that are different from those seen in Agile processes. Considering that the Waterfall methodology is a linear approach to product development that leaves little to no space for iterative improvements during product creation, the roadmap used is much more fixed since the team is all working towards creating highly specific, predefined products within strict timelines. As a result, once a team undertakes an activity or task, the roadmap does not account for any margin of flexibility since the methodology itself doesn't leave much room for flexibility. Now that we've laid the foundation, let us now turn our attention to the framework product owners ought to apply when building a product framework. This framework is a 4-step process, the first one being strategy definition. In this step, the product team describes, justifies, and explains the approach for product creation. In order for this to take place, the product owner or relevant stakeholders would have previously defined the overarching product vision, business goals, and general objectives, thus enabling the product owner to devise a proper strategy to tackle product development. Product owners usually base their strategies on information provided by customer support, product users themselves, or insight provided by the marketing and sales team. The second step in the product roadmap creation process is review and management. This step is marked heavily by constant ideation, where product owners pitch ideas, suggestions, or recommendations for the stages that will make up product creation, along with the respective activities that team members are expected to undertake. In order to do this, one of the most useful strategies that product owners have at their disposal is a system of scoring and ranking. This consists of comparing and contrasting project roadmap pitches by scoring each one based on set metrics and criteria in order to rank them. That way, this reduces the likelihood of subjectivity or bias that a product owner may have towards a particular roadmap, since they will be applying an objective ranking method. The third step in the product roadmap creation process is features and requirements. This stage requires a product owner to pinpoint the specific features, requirements, functionalities, and characteristics of the product's design that best bring out the strategy that you've determined. These are then given to the development team to flesh out based on the timeline provided. Given that this stage already signals that the team is moving into product development phase of product creation, the product owner needs to translate their vision into real-world concepts that help the development team to understand what exactly it is they need to create. To do so, product owners create detailed user stories that provide greater context on what the developers need to build. The fourth step in the product roadmap creation process involves organizing and structuring the functions that were defined in the previous phase into clear themes or epics. If you're following the Agile framework, then that can help define workflows. In doing so, product managers and product owners seek to then coordinate how teams work both as an individual unit as well as independent entities, which require the input of other teams to produce their own activities, all in order to guarantee smooth project management and a successful product release. Once that's done, the product owner then creates a comprehensive timeline that sets tentative dates or deadlines for task completion. That way team members know ahead of time what needs to be done, how, and when. To provide you a visual of what a product owner can expect to come up with once they have completed this 4-step framework, I've included here an example of a product roadmap. This roadmap was published on roadmonk.com and is a solid representation of the different elements that make up a comprehensive, well-designed product roadmap. First things first, please note that the roadmap is divided into different sheets, namely items, milestones, and the page we're currently looking at, which would be the timeline. On the timeline sheet, we see that the different segments of the product creation, such as milestones, web stores, and mobile development, are all broken up into quarters that measure the completion rate of certain tasks. Both the items and milestone sheets feature similar formats where individual tasks and goals are grouped into broader categories that dictate who's in charge of what and when they need to complete their assigned tasks. This is a solid example of a sprint roadmap. We know that's a sprint since many of the tasks like database improvement and update API documentation are iterative in nature. What's more, while a timeline is provided by dividing the task into quarters as is expected of Agile methodology, it affords the team greater flexibility to complete tasks as opposed to micromanaging every single task or contained within each broad activity, which is more typical of the Waterfall methodology approach. And most importantly, the sprint roadmap does a fantastic job of streamlining work activities and showing the interconnectedness relationship between team members as they work on various phases of product creation. You can clearly see who does what and when, which affords greater confidence to both the product owner and stakeholders during the entire product development cycle as they go about accomplishing their respective tasks. There are several tools that you have at your disposal to create product roadmaps, such as Product Plan, Roadmonk, Product Board, Jira, and even Excel. You can also use Airtable, Asana, and much more. The important thing here is that more than just a tool, you should always emphasize clarity in your product roadmap, as that is what will help you make your project a success. As we wrap up this video, I'd like to leave you with some final thoughts on roadmaps. Product owners are in charge of taking their products and their teams on a journey towards a brighter future. To do so, product managers create product roadmaps that ladder up to the company's vision by understanding the possible steps you can take to get your vision and sequencing them in a compelling way based on current constraints. You can deliver a truly great product. If you're looking for even more insight on product mapping and its relationship to overall product management, then I highly recommend you check out our certification courses on Product Manager HQ, where we cover road mapping extensively and how to create a great product strategy so you can step up to create that roadmap effectively and know that it's going to have success. Moreover, some of the things that are important that we also teach is how to apply the Agile methodology to your roadmap as well, and how to align it with sprints, Scrum meetings, and much more. Before we go, I got a quick challenge for you to see if you're paying attention. Can you name the types of product roadmaps? So let's see how closely you were listening to this video and leave your answer in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed watching, and I'll go ahead and see you in some of our following videos. And with that said, I wish you the best of luck in your career journey, and cheers.